Since the 1970s, researchers have claimed that food additives cause behavioural problems in children. And while there's still no scientific proof, there's enough documentary evidence to persuade the European community to err on the side of caution and ban 6 colouring additives. Australia hasn't. Now there's an unprecedented public campaign underway to ensure our children get the same protection. Sophie Hull reports.
It's not fair. Basically, as a parent, I have to become a bit of a chemist, work out which colours to avoid.
Day in, week out, more and more parents coming in concerned because they don't know why their children are hyperactive.
If it's not good enough for British children, there is no reason that Australian children in a global sense should be treated as second-class citizens.
We allow up to 4,000 food additives in our food here in Australia, yet some European countries allow only 7.
Doctors, paediatricians, dietitians, ADHD specialists nationwide united for the first time on a single issue, and they're calling for action. There's nothing new in suggesting kids react to food colouring, but recent research has prompted governments the world over to change the recipe.
This is a very big deal. The regulators in England have been persuaded that the effects of the food colours are the same as the effects of lead on children's IQ. Now, lead was banned from petrol to protect children. So if food colours are doing the same thing, if they're having the same effects, they also need to be banned.
Campaigner and author Sue Dengate has been trumpeting this tune for decades. Her own children reacted badly to additives. The more research she did, the more she found other children suffered too. Thousands of them, from severe reactions with ADHD-like symptoms to subtle fidgeting. Kids weren't tolerating the chemicals in their food supply.
There's no doubt about it that a lot of parents are really desperate because they're living with very difficult children, and they simply do not realise that if they cut out some of these foods, their children will be easier to live with.
Last year, the cause was given new weight thanks to a study published in The Lancet, the highly respected medical journal. The study claimed most children suffered reduced abilities to learn and behave after coming into contact with 6 colours in particular. Other countries took notice. Australia didn't. In fact, from next year, food exported to Europe from Australia will have to carry warnings if certain colours are included.
I would have to say that about the only people who don't seem to be caring about the welfare of our children are our food regulators.
It's an interesting study, but the evidence is quite weak. Obviously, if there's more studies in the future, there's a number of options that we can look at.
Lydia Buchtman is speaking on behalf of FSANZ, the Food Standards Authority of Australia and New Zealand. While her agency is dismissive of the study, governments in Britain and Europe found it very compelling. So much so, food containing these colours will carry warnings in EU countries and are becoming voluntarily banned in the UK. Here, parents are left to fend for themselves.
I slip up all the time. Even though I read the ingredient list religiously, I still slip up every now and then.
Michelle Van Lambert is one of the thousands of parents who found out the hard way her children couldn't tolerate artificial colours. It's not easy keeping a constant vigil on encoded food labels. Even the most innocent-looking item can carry an artificial colour. She wants Australian food authorities to make life easier for parents by following the UK and Europe's lead and, at the very least, carry warnings on food.
Our advice continues to be for parents to go and seek medical advice from their doctor or nutritionist about whether their child has a problem.
But if your local health practitioner has signed up to this list, it could save you the trouble. Even outside the medical profession, school principals, childcare workers, politicians, all imploring FSANZ to clean up the food supply for the sake of our children.
We're driving a whole generation of Australian kids crazy with 6 food additives that are unnecessary, have no nutritional value and are simply added to gain competitive advantage.
As a dietitian, I strongly believe that these 6 food colours should be phased out of Australia's food system. They provide no purpose, no nutrition other than to make food look good. They should be banned and removed from our foods.
These additives have been known to affect children's behaviour in school, their ability to concentrate.
According to research, these additives do not need to be in our foods, and if they insist on putting any of them in, then they should be on the label so that parents know.
As soon as there's suggestion of even the slightest degree of possible harm, then we really need to remove them from our food. The body does not need them.
The campaign and accompanying petition launched today will run for 2 months before being presented to Fsanz and the Health and Education Ministers.
I really hope that we get a voluntary ban and warnings. That would be great. And I would like to see these colours phased out of Australian foods. I would like to see Australian children protected.
It's glib, but probably accurate. Only the fools die their young. If you want to add your name to the petition against food colourings, you can do it on our website.